Enzo Maresca finally reveals some good news. He discusses Reece James's tactical evolution, and we discuss the latest interesting transfer updates that you guys can't afford to miss out on. So I got a crap ton of things to get through right now, but you guys, you already know what to do. Show some love as always, hit that like button, share the video, comment on today's stories, and let's tackle everything that's gone down today. Maresca finally reveals some good news ahead of our game against Leicester City this Sunday. We start off with his words on Moises Caicedo. As we know, he is one more yellow card away from getting a suspension, and we can't afford for our general to get suspended before our game next week against Arsenal. Massive game ahead. Maresca kind of brushed off things, tried to take the ease out of things, the pressure away from things, by suggesting that, listen, playing in the role he plays, he's naturally going to pick up fouls and yellow cards. What I will say though is that if you compare the yellow cards that Moises is picking up this season compared to last season, you would say that this season at times he's forced to make the tactical foul because he is helping a teammate that's messed up, compared to last season where a lot of times he was just being too hasty, being a bit too clumsy, being a bit too reckless. But it's a reminder that as he grows older, he'll refine his game even more. But it's good that Maresca is encouraging the confidence for Moises to continue to be aggressive in games, because we need that. But he ends things by stating that we also have players like Reece James and Romeo Lavia as alternatives that we can end up with. So that segues on to the big positive news, and that is, my friends, expect to see Wesley Fofana finally returning back on Sunday against Leicester City, followed by an appearance on the cards from Romeo Lavia. Now, Maresca was quick on Lavia by stating that he won't be starting the game, but there'll be enough minutes for him to come on as a sub, of course, to partake in the game. That's what I need to hear realistically. I really feel sorry for Lavia. I'm really against some of these really hasty, short-sighted comments about potentially selling him just because he's been injured. No. He's only 21 years old. There's a ton of plus side to his game. He just needs some patience and time to find his body confidence and form again. That's all it is. But this guy has the potential, in my opinion, to be one of the leading sixers of this generation. So that's good news to hear that he's back, because I'm thinking about that game ahead against Arsenal. And obviously the big news around Wesley Fofana. We've seen over the last month that Fofana has been training with the team. Maresca revealed that over the last 10 days he's been training even harder. He has made a matchday squad, but we have been getting him ready in time to have that reunion against Leicester City. It's going to be like a big occasion for all our players this Sunday. You're seeing the photos of Wesley. The guy's been getting trim after trim, putting me to absolute shame. I'm hoping to be on Wesley's level tomorrow. I finally got my haircut booked. My barber is back from his long-ass holiday. And obviously, you guys know that you can't cheat on your barber. You guys know this. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited for this game on Sunday. It's nice to know that things are finally starting to make some sense again. And as the squad gets stronger, hopefully this really turns our fortunes around this season. Now, in terms of guys like Nicholas Jackson, he'll be assessed after the international break, but we're expecting to see him return before March ends. So that's a positive. But to end with small things, of course, there was talks around Dewsbury Hall, with Maresca kind of giving KDH the Felix treatment, saying, oh, you know, it's a shame he can't play because there's Palmer, there's Enzo, there's Nkunku ahead of him. We've heard this spiel before from Maresca. But he was saying that actually in the end, now that KDH has accepted that he won't be playing all the time, he's more comfortable and he looks good last night. But I don't know what game he was seeing. This is just a manager trying to instill some confidence in the squad guys because he has to use them. But I have to say I have been pretty disappointed by Dewsbury Hall. Just the lack of ability to assert himself. I just don't see a confidence that he knows that he is good enough for this level. He has the talent for sure. Tons of Prem clubs have been after him, but he's been here for a few months now and he hasn't had that one performance here where it's like, wow. You know, he's really like shown that he can be reliable for us. Even guys like Saul, who had like a much maligned time with us during his loan spell, he had a few games where he stepped up and made things happen for the team. I've not even seen that from KDH right now. So that's everything in terms of the key points in the press conference. How do you guys feel about Lavia and Fofana returning back? Let us know below. Right now, my friends, let's discuss some Striker update news. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to the summer window, and this summer is going to be a massive window at this football club. Now, we've got a host of updates coming from Ornstein and a few other outlets, but to start with things, we focus on Liam Delap first. In Ornstein's Q&A article post that he has on The Athletic, he was asked about Delap's chances of signing for us, and as he said, he was the first guy to reveal the news that we were showing interest in making something happen for Delap back in November. But the update currently is that Liam Delap is most likely going to be playing for a Champions League team. And from what I've heard behind the scenes, I'm hearing that Arsenal are also big fans of Liam Delap. They're like another club to watch out for in terms of competition. But it does seem like Liam Delap, and this kind of like Q&A answer reveals from all parties that Delap is going to put his career first. I won't just blindly sign for us because we have Maresca, Palmer, Lavia, and like all things Man City currently at our football club. So that is interesting. And it kind of further supports the fact that at the moment it does reveal that there isn't like any clear number one striker target we're looking at right now. The main options I can tell you, Licorice, Samu from FC Porto, you're looking at Sesko and Liam Delap. These guys come for pretty competitive prices this summer. They're not outside our ball range. Most of these guys aren't on big contracts to begin with. So they make more financial sense from the club's point of view, not my point of view, the club's point of view, compared to committing to signing like Osimhen last summer. And this takes us on to the final update around Benjamin Sesko, because finally we have got some clarity confirmed by Sky Sports around what exactly the Sesko release clause entails. And as we're learning, it's seemingly pretty optimistic. Now, as we already know, there was a gentleman's agreement in place for Sesko to leave in this summer window if he, of course, signed the contract extension with RB Leipzig. Now, we're learning from Sky Sports that currently there's a 75 million euro, 62 million pound release clause. However, it's not that simple because it starts from as little as 60 mil euros, around 49.5 million pounds, and it can rise all the way up to 66 million pounds, around 80 million euros, because in this agreement, there are also clauses that can be activated, which are actually attached in the release clause. And they include things like appearance fees, goals and assists that he gets whilst remaining at RB Leipzig. So the minimum you could get him for is around 49.5 million, and the absolute max is around 66 million pounds. So it's not a bad ball range when you're hoping to sign a top player and a top striker. And you know what? Ideally, you guys, if I could sign any striker, obviously it's going to be Isak from Newcastle. But I can't rest my eggs in that really unrealistic basket. But if I could actually pick my second choice striker, I'm going for Sesko. And I'm not going for him because this guy is like super clinical, like he converts everything, doesn't waste chances. I mean, come on, he's like, what, 21 years old, turning 22 years old. But the thing I like about him is that he's a bit of a freak. He's got these world-class attributes that you just can't train. And I like these types of players that possess a certain ability and aspects in their game that other players just don't have, which allows you to just refine maybe other parts of their game, which can build them up. Look at someone like Isak when he went to Newcastle. Newcastle paid a crap ton of money for Isak at the time, even though he wasn't necessarily the most clinical guy in Europe. But they bought him because they knew he was closer to becoming that elite striker. And right now, they're quoting fees of around 150 million pounds if anyone wants to sign Isak this summer. Sesko is 6'5", one of the fastest players in the Bundesliga. He has unholy, ungodly shooting technique, power, stuff that I've not really seen any player have. When he smashes that ball, man, it's just like the physics. Sesko has his own personal physics that work for him compared to other strikers. And we haven't seen an absolute cannonball powerhouse striker with the ball since Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and even the Brazilian centre-back in Alex. I don't know, man. I see Sesko and then I think to myself, I can see what this guy is like at 24, 25. And it feels like that vision for him is a lot clearer compared to maybe other strikers around his age. So that's the latest updates. We're going to see what happens. But one thing we need to know is that all these strikers we're looking at, 5 other clubs are also seeing them as their favourites. So the striker market is going to be ruthless in this summer window. Two more stories left. We will discuss Reece James, and I'll end things by discussing some really interesting news around one of the most exciting youth prospects in La Liga this season. But anyway, is Reece James now evolving before our eyes into our new midfield player? Well, based on Maresca's post-match comments after yesterday's 2-1 win against Copenhagen, it does seem like, as Maresca says, he's always seen Reece James as his midfield player. I'm going to read out some quotes to you guys first. Maresca said, "We know how important Reece James is for us. He is our captain, a fantastic player. We all know the most important thing for Reece is that we need him fit. It is our duty and our target to keep him fit until the end because for sure, he is going to help us." Key words have been put in those quotes, my guys. To continue, Maresca says that Reece James can play in many positions because the good players can play in many positions. At this moment, we are using him as a midfielder and he is doing very well. When I signed with Chelsea, probably the day after, I sent him a video about seeing him as a midfielder. When you watch a player, you sometimes need to use your imagination and imagine a player doing something. I always imagine him behaving as a midfielder. I watched some of his games when he was on loan from Chelsea to Wigan, where he scored a fantastic goal from 25 or 30 meters as a midfielder. But the thing about Reece at the moment is he is helping the team with leadership, and he is growing a lot since I mentioned we need him, and this is important. And that last part is key because Maresca kind of called out Reece James in October, wanting to see more. And credit to Reece James, he's a learner, he's humble, he always wants to do better and be better. He has risen up as a captain more. For example, after the recent defeat against Aston Villa, the team felt a bit hurt. They played really well. We never got the result, but Reece James said, you know what, guys, we're going to have a team bonding dinner session. Everyone come through. Let's try and keep the vibes good, keep the vibes high. It's nice that he's taking responsibility for the team. And it's nice that the squad obviously are clearly looking up to him as well because he's well respected in this game, man. But Reece James as a midfield player, that is the most interesting thing. Some are going to be like, my God, Maresca, what the hell are you doing? The guy's one of the best fullbacks in the world. You're killing his career. So you're going to have this guy playing backwards passes for like 90% of the game. I hear what you're saying, and I also kind of agree. I think it would be a massive shame if we see some of those offensive capabilities of Reece James kind of cut down. But from how I see things right now, I feel like we have to be responsible with Reece James. You know, there was a quote mentioned in The Athletic that revealed that Reece James felt like he was fit enough to play against Southampton, but Maresca was still being cautious and wasn't taking no risks. And in the comments that I've quoted, Maresca clearly is being responsible. He's thinking about the future. He doesn't want to overstress his body. And I think this is the type of manager that Reece James has needed now for the last few years. And I kind of agree with it. And if Maresca feels like at the moment, Reece James playing games in midfields is going to help him, of course, just build his, match conditioning, his fitness on the field, I think that could be good for us in terms of where we are this season. Because I believe once it gets to preseason, once it gets to the next season, I'm not envisioning Reece James playing in midfield forever. Not when Lavia's going to be here, not when Santos is going to be here, not when Moises is here. I see Reece James going back to playing on the right-hand side. But throughout this season, we've seen Reece play equally at left back, right back, right centre back, and in midfield. And it's clear that he's our captain. Maresca has to find a way to use him. And Reece James is more than versatile enough to excel in any of these positions that he's currently playing in. I hope that as Maresca has more confidence in Reece James's fitness, that he starts to unlock James a bit more. I mean, look at how Cucurella has played the inverted role. He's getting inside the box. He's making underlaps on the left. He's making overlaps down the left. He's not just stuck in midfield. But Reece James has been used a bit differently compared to Cucurella at the moment, where he has more discipline and is told to stay a bit more centrally. He hasn't had that license to really bomb forward down the right side, but Maresca's system has shown that there is the possibility for that to become part of the system as time goes on. I actually really believe that. And Reece James could find himself unlocking maybe new things, playing a midfield role, which gives him the license to underlap, overlap, and get forward at times and demonstrate his great shooting ability. But let's see what happens. And most importantly, how do you guys feel about this report? Do you feel like Maresca's not making sense right now? Do you understand that this is a temporary thing? Or do you feel like actually Reece James does make sense long term as a midfield player and you're okay with things? I think it's a really interesting conversation. So let us know your thoughts below in the comments, my guys. And for the final report, courtesy of Spanish outlets, it does seem like we are casting our eyes on yet again another exciting prospect in La Liga, and this prospect in particular. He recently stood out in Real Betis' unlikely 2-1 win against Real Madrid recently. He is 19-year-old winger in Jesus Rodriguez, and yeah, this guy looks like a super talent. Reports in Spain reveal that us and Prem clubs are naturally casting our eyes, feeling out moves, feeling out the possibility to secure something, because at the moment, his release clause is a bargain. It's currently 35 million euros. He's only making his breakthrough season under Manuel Pellegrini this season. And already, he's really impressing and getting a lot of La Liga fans excited with kind of the uniqueness in his game. Because this guy is like 6'2", 6'1". He's a big star winger, but he has like the nimbleness and the low center of gravity of someone who's like 5'7", 5'8". Explosive over distances, short and long. I like how he's two-footed with his dribbles. He's played equally down the left side and the right side. I like how he changes his direction. There's like a little delay, which he's mastered. He fools the defender, gets him to get off balance, and he can quickly burst away with his quick feet to exploit the spaces that he's now made. And, you know, he was really exciting against Real Madrid. And I'm really stressing this. A lot of La Liga fans are really rating this kid up very highly. So it's no surprise that big clubs now are going to heavily scout, see what can happen, and make sense of the situation. But if you're a Real Betis fan, you don't have to worry about anything because the player wants to remain at the club. And Real Betis are so confident that he will remain there. They're not even in talks to extend his contract so they can increase his release clause value. And I think for where he is right now, that's the best thing, because when you step up another level, it's not just about being exciting and making things happen all the time with your dribbles. It also becomes about the output. And at the moment, in 17 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, it's not anything that screams that he's ready for the responsibility on his shoulders to be a difference maker on a consistent basis going to the next level. But you know what, you guys, when I report these stories, not everything's supposed to be about, you know, signing. Sometimes it's about improving our football IQ, learning about the game, learning about players who are doing things. I mean, I've spoken about so many players covering these stories, and it's actually really personally enriched me even more in terms of like sussing out players before everyone gets onto them. And I like to try and make these videos more than just like giving news. I want to have like good conversations. I want to like educate when I can. I want to put you guys onto players as well. You do your own research. You look at the highlight clips yourself, all that type of good stuff. So there you have it, my friends. That's the latest reports today. I'm most likely going to release the predictor lineup video tomorrow in time for the Leicester City game. So stay tuned for that. Slowly getting better and better. Thank you to everyone who's been showing me love. And yeah, my guys, enjoy your Friday. See you tomorrow. Cool.